Yes, I can see it, sir.
Oh, perfect. Welcome to lesson 4 of Digital Marketing 2 part-time, where we are going to continue with what we build on. In lesson 3, remember we're looking at the digital marketing mix, and we discussed the product element, and we are going to continue with that. So at the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the various product elements discussed to brands as they engage. You should also be able to demonstrate an understanding of the distribution channels, and you should be able to demonstrate an understanding of the levels of distribution. You should be able to discuss each of these in sufficient detail with the assistance of examples. So you actually realize that the things that we're going to discuss now are related to the assignment, because if I remember, there was a question that was related to the distribution channels and levels of distribution channels. So this is actually going to. So what does a place refer to when it comes to the marketing mix? Do you know?
Location.
Yes, location, that's correct. So yes, a place is referred to a location. Remember, as much as a place affects brands, it also affects customers to an extent that customers sometimes are forced to shop to supermarkets that they do not like, but only because those supermarkets are in their proximity. So, for example, if you are very loyal to Woolies, but there is no Woolies in your area, there is Spar, you need to travel for about 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers to get to that Woolies supermarket. When you realize that you don't have minor things like salt in your home, would you go to Woolies or you'd go to Spar?
Usually whichever is closer.
Aaron?
If it's between the two, I would mostly say Spa.
Mm. Or you'd only consider Woolies is maybe if you are getting everything per month. But if something misses during the month, you rather get it closer. And I've seen many people doing that. So place is crucial to both brands and customers. And mostly people who are outside city centers, and especially those who are in rural areas, they also struggle with place. If you go to Takealot, for example, and you look at their, excuse me, and you look at their shipping policies, you realize that they will say that we don't deliver in rural areas. So it becomes a problem. That's places or that's location. So now people who are in rural areas are not given the opportunity to engage with a brand from a product and a place point of view because they are very far. Or sometimes you realize that they can deliver, but the shipping costs are going to be higher. Or they can deliver, but it's going to take longer than expected. So place actually matters when it comes to distribution of products. And also, I've seen, especially with soccer, there are some websites that do not allow streaming, saying that streaming is not allowed in your country. I don't know if you have come across that.
Yes, I have come across that.
Mm. So online media also has got some limits when it comes to place. There are some products that you can get online, but you can't receive them physically because of the location where you are based in. So these are the elements of distribution. So distribution can come directly from the brand or indirectly, or it might be via business to business, or it might be international distribution or virtual distribution. For example, DSTV. DSTV may come to you indirectly. They use their distribution centers, their intermediaries. Like you take a lot, you buy a DSTV decoder and take a lot, so it means that you bought it indirectly. That DSTV that you bought from Take a Lot, DSTV is going to get a share of money from it. Or they use other businesses to get to you. For example, your Microsoft Teams, you can use IT companies to get that Microsoft Office. Or some has got international distribution. They do not have the factory in the country, but they use their international distribution for you to get that product. For example, if it's your car manufacturers, I think Ford and BMW, they now have their plants here in South Africa, but mostly they use their international distribution channels for you to get the product. Then some also they can use virtual distribution, especially if it's e-products. So these are the distribution channels. And distributing products helps in digital marketing because the way consumers receive their products will determine the level of engagement that you get from them. I mean, there are some people right now who would only get something online from a certain um, website because they always deliver on time. I don't know if you know that.
Yes, yes.
Like it doesn't matter whether the quality is so poor or so strong, but for the fact that they deliver on time, you can consider them. For example, if you have got a function this Friday and you realize that in your wardrobe you do not have that specific color that they are asking for, and you have got your Temu, which is known for selling goods that are not that strong. Then you have got your Amazon, which is known for selling goods that are of good quality, but will take 30 days for you to get that good. You end up getting it from a cheaper because of the urgency of that function that needs to be done um, on Friday. So yes, distribution, the reason why we are talking about distribution, the reason why we are talking about a place, it is because it determines the levels of engagement with the brand. It determines the loyalty with the brand. It also determines the frustrations that brands could have. And distribution is not only about receiving, it is also about returning the product if it's faulty, you know. Some companies may say, you know what, once we deliver, we don't take anything for an exchange, or there is no refund and stuff like that. So all these things contribute to how customers engage with brands. So then, which one do you think are the suitable factors here? Getting it directly from the brand, or indirectly, or from other businesses, or from international distribution, or virtual distribution?
Wait, sorry, repeat the questions.
So, I mean, based on those elements there, which one do you think is more suitable? Getting a product directly from the brand or indirectly via intermediaries like your wholesale supermarkets, or from other businesses, or from international distribution or virtual distribution?
Um, I would say most products directly from, because like
Mm.
when you because when you get them from anywhere else, then it's not trustworthy.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, for example, with your iPhones, it would be good to get it directly from Apple shop, your App Store, your Apple Store. Indirectly to you getting it home, or from your MTN and so forth. Then business to business, it will mean that you're getting it from businesses that are affiliated with Apple. So realize that nowadays, especially with the internet, there are so many counterfeit goods, like fake products, if you get what I mean. So it's always difficult to trust the brand, as you are saying, that trust issues. At least if I get it directly from Nike, if I get it directly from Adidas, it's better because there are so many fake Nike products out there. And if you are getting it indirectly, you will know whether you are getting the original product or not, right? And all of a
Yes, sir.
sudden that can also have an impact on the brand and its reputation, especially if people are getting it indirectly and they are getting fake stuff. They will start complaining about Nike, saying that it sells fake stuff. Then with distribution, we also look at intermediaries. However, as we're discussing distributions here, I've just realized something. Not in all cases you can get your product direct from the brand. For example, do you think you can get Coca-Cola directly from Coca-Cola company? You can get Coke or Fanta directly from Coca-Cola?
I think it depends on the situation because I mean most of the
Mm,
time they distribute their products
mm,
to retail outlets.
yes. So not all products can be distributed directly. That's what I'm trying to say. In most cases, even if I've seen that with Bosch and your Lenovo and your Dell computers, their website will only release information about the latest laptops, the latest fridge, and then they will tell you where to go and get them. So themselves cannot directly distribute them. So intermediaries are your middlemen, are the distribution channels that brands use to reach out to customers. So intermediaries can be form of wholesalers, they can be form of retailers, and they can also be in form of agents. That's an agent that distributes across the country or areas that are inaccessible by the brand. You can use an agent that has got distribution centers or warehouses where the brand does not have access to. So these would be the intermediaries that you would use when distributing the product. Then how do you then make place decisions? Of course, you analyze the market. You look at the market and check where the product is frequently used so that you can optimize your distribution costs. Remember, distribution itself has got its own costs. If you are Coca-Cola, you need to have your trucks, you need to employ drivers, you need to have enough fuel, you need to have this and that. So already you are having costs. So you need to analyze the market. You need to identify profitable markets. So you're not only analyzing the market, but you need to look at the market that is going to bring money to the business. I mean, there are some models that I've seen that are not available in the country for cars, for example, because they realize that it's only few people who would want those models in the country, but you can find them elsewhere. So why would you distribute it when there are only few people in the country who can get them? Same thing with Boston. Why is Boston not everywhere in the country? Because they've analyzed the market. They can't be in Limpopo. In Limpopo, there are going to be less students registering there. The market is limited. And you need to decide on the best location. Remember, some location in terms of infrastructure, especially in this country, are not easily accessible. So decide on the best location, and also need to think about things like crime. What if the entire track gets hijacked? That's a loss, even though in most cases, some organization may then have to make sure that the products are insured. There's insurance on them. But we need to think about this. Even now with Uber, with your Mr. D, some do hesitate to go to areas where they believe they might be in danger. Even if when you are in town in the CBD in Johannesburg at this time, you can request Uber and it will take you more than 30 minutes for you to get it, because all the available drivers are hesitating to come and pick you up. They don't even know whether you are a tsotsi or not. I don't know if you have heard or come across such.
What about them being hesitant to?
Because it's quite dangerous in town at this hour.
Oh yes, yeah.
So they don't want to
There's
be
certain,
robbed.
yes, because I know because with certain Uber drivers that I've driven with, they always stay in one specific area,
Mm,
just well when they finish, because they don't want to drive all the way to another place that is like 20 or 30 minutes away just to go pick somebody up.
mm. Yeah, true. So they also know their locations, and there are locations where they say that wherever they pick up passengers, there are some passengers who tend not to pay. So they will tell you, for example, that in Alex, I can risk it at night because whoever that I'm going to pick up there, you hear stories. So it's the same thing with distribution in digital marketing, especially when looking at brands. You need to understand such risks, especially in this country where crime is very high. Of course, you can be robbed elsewhere in South Africa, but you need to pick up the hotspots that you know that are going to be dangerous to the products and the resources that you are putting in to distribute those products. For example, many courier guys are being robbed of the products that they are taking. There was a courier vehicle that was robbed of laptops, brand new laptops. So you see how distribution channels then get affected in this country. Then when selecting intermediaries, you need to make sure that you share some goals. For example, if you are selecting a hostel, let's say Pick and Pay, you need to know that you share some goals. They sell the stuff that you are selling. The customers are almost similar. For example, someone who's here to buy rice at Pick and Pay, that person can be able to buy Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola can know that we share the similar goals. I mean, supermarket, that's where you definitely find a Coke. So they would share the similar goals. And also another decision that you need to make, you need to understand that this is also where the customers are located. Cadbury for chocolates, for example, they know that their customers are located where uh, people shop. So if it's a supermarket, they know that a Cadbury chocolate, someone would need that product. And also you need to share a similar image, especially when it comes to brand reputation. So you wouldn't want to use an intermediary that is more scandalous than the intermediary that do not respect customers, the intermediary that is always low, or the intermediary that is very expensive, yet your product is very cheap. And also, you need to think about an intermediary that has got expertise in what they are doing. And then, lastly, of course, you need to select an intermediary that has got appropriate infrastructure. So, for example, if you are Rainbow Chicken, Rainbow Chicken sells meat products. They need to select intermediaries that have got refrigerated shelves. So their infrastructure would be able to accommodate their frozen chicken. They need to have cold rooms and so forth. So you also need to consider infrastructure when selecting an intermediary. Are there any questions so far? Does it make sense?
Yes, no questions.
Mm. So, of course, there are three levels of distributions, and these levels have been asked of in the assignment. So, already here are some of the answers to the assignment. The levels of distribution include exclusive, meaning that this distribution you can only be found at one distribution center. For example, There are shops that specifically sell Apple phones, meaning that if you get it elsewhere, chances are that it's fake because only that company is licensed to sell that brand. I don't know if you've come across an intermediary whereby you know that the only original product you can get is from them. Elsewhere, it will be a fake item. Converse or
Um,
Star.
I
You were
just
saying
know,
something?
yes, I was saying, I just know that I think there were two like big TVs that Samsung and LG were selling, and that there was only one available, I think, in Monte Casino, and then the other one
Mm.
was at another mall. I'm not sure where. I think it was either Four Ways or it's one Four
Mm.
Ways or Clearwater, one of the malls.
Yes, so that would be only exclusive to those two shops, you know? And sometimes it's only selective. That's why I always wonder, like, why is it people from Soweto or people from Randburg are going to shop at Sandton City when all the shops that they are shopping at in Sandton City are available at Randburg Square? Like, why would you go to Checkers at Sandton City when where you are living 2 kilometers away there's Checkers? So it is because there are selective products that you can only find at Checkers in Sandton City, and you can never find them at Checkers in your location. And the same thing, you know that Checkers supermarkets are not the same, right? Just like Pick and Pay. Do you know that?
Yes, I do know that.
Mm. Some are called Checkers Hyper. Like they've got selective stuff that you can only find there. You know, while some, are called Super Safe or something else. Then you can also have level of distribution as intensive. So this is where you can get everything. You know, like all the models you find there. So this is good for a product that needs to be sold a lot of places, but under brand owner need to control the number and quality of outlets. So that's how you look at the levels of distribution. Therefore, the levels of distribution are, they also vary by country. For example, if you look at the levels of distribution in South Africa versus the levels of distribution elsewhere, do you think there are so many products in South Africa than in any other countries where you have been?
I think and because I've only been to here and Zambia. So I mean I've driven past Botswana and Zimbabwe, but
Mm,
I almost everything that you find in Zambia you'll find here as well.
mm. Okay. Because of course distribution differs with country, with location, and so forth. Looking at what we discussed previously about some locations, you realize that maybe it would be difficult to look for a Nike if you're in Limpopo than it would be if you're in Johannesburg. That's it for lesson 4. Any questions? Any comments?
No questions, sir.
All right, we are left with 2 questions.